Hello, Likers. Welcome back to our channel. It's me, your fave, your one and only, your baby girl, Malaika. So, Likers, today we are doing the critical review of Mr. Aloy's series, Where Marriage Becomes a Nightmare, episode 40. It starts with, remember, this lady went to apologize, to Hanks, Clara, and from apologizing, they spoke, and from there, Hanks discovered that Benita is not even Clara's daughter, and it was a shocker for him because of the way she treats him. Sorry, the way she treats her like her own. I'm certain that made Hanks to really realize how special Clara is. To raise a child that is not yours and you love her like your own daughter. And the next scene shows Jonathan will return home very angry, furious, like almost breaking everything. And Teresa was shocked when she saw Jonathan. She was confused because Jonathan left home this morning happy, going to work for his first day at work and all the rest. But only for Jonathan to return home, complaining, angry, and all the rest. Jonathan came home complaining that he applied for a manager position, but he was given a personal assistant position to the CEO. And that was not what he wanted. And to make matters worse, the CEO happens to be a woman, and you know how Jonathan looks down on women. Jonathan does not see himself, Big Joe in this town does not see himself, being tossed around by a woman. Jonathan does not see himself, being, asked to run errands by a woman. How is that even possible? So everyone was just shocked, like, are you okay? What is going on? Because to him it's too big for a woman to tell him what to do, because a woman's place is in the kitchen, a woman's place is under his feet. He doesn't see any woman that can tell him what to do. He is Big Jonathan. This is where you realize that money knows no gender nor color. Yes, money has no gender, because even his daughter, even though she's just 16, but it's obvious that she understands things more than her father. He'll come and see how he was belittling this woman, talking bad about her, how dirty, because even Teresa was shocked herself. Teresa was like, what? How short, ugly, fat she was, like just talking down on her, because to him, how dare she, have the mind to even ask that he'll be carrying her bag around, buying her food, buying her food, like where, how, him, a whole mighty Joe. Like that is where you see that some people will die poor. Yes. And his daughter was so quick to tell him that you will die a poor man. To him, he is like a lion, that no matter, despite the economy of the jungle, the lion can never eat grass. He would rather sit in his home than to carry a woman's back, calling her boss. He can never do that. His pride is too big. But he forgets that an empty stomach, pride does not know a full or empty stomach. You understand? Now, your own daughter is unable to comprehend, because to her, it is not normal for her father to open his mouth and say he cannot work for a woman simply because she is a woman. Because to him, she's too little for him to work for. Why would he work for a woman? How is that even possible? Why would something like that even happen? Like, as it's crazy. It's crazy how some people feel like, they are too big for certain positions. But we forget that when hunger is about to, to touch you, hunger does not know anything about position. Hunger just knows that you have to eat when it's time. And Benita was very disappointed. She was so rude to her father that she even wondered if that was truly her dad, because they don't reason alike. Because to her, even though Teresa tried, she was like, to her, they don't reason alike, because it is not possible that this man could be her father. Because her father would think about her. Her father would think, there will be ways that he would do things that he will not be so self-centered to think about himself. Whereas Jonathan, is being so self-centered at the moment. Jonathan thinks only about Jonathan, and thinks about nothing else but him. It is sad. It is really sad. And one thing about Jonathan is the fact that he dislikes it when you point his truth to him. Because it makes him feel bad. He doesn't like it. He doesn't want anybody to show him that he is a loser, whereas that is who he is. A loser. A proud one. Because how can you be broke and proud at the same time? The next thing shows Benita, who went and reported to her mother. She was very pissed. And her mother was kind of confused because she couldn't understand what job Benita was talking about, because she knew that her husband didn't have a job and he just applied for a job that he got. And Benita was fast to tell her mother that yes, it is that particular job that he just got. It is the same job that he just turned down because the CEO is a woman. And this is where you really have to sit and be like, village people are at work. Yes. Because as there are certain things that there are certain people that you will not expect them to do that, because pride aside, you cannot choose, especially when you know that your wife left you because you don't want to put yourself down. Your daughter is at the verge of losing it. Still, yet you're choosing jobs. You understand? Aren't you supposed to be like anything you see you take? No, you still want to choose until you're choosing a managerial position. Yes, they saw somebody that was more competent than you. That was why they gave that position to that person and didn't give it to you. And I don't see any reason what is wrong with being a PA with a starter salary of 800,000 in this economy. That is huge, Benita was so disappointed at her dad. And this is the exact same thing that he doesn't want from his daughter. But how can you disappoint her this much until she's wondering if you're truly her father? You're giving the enemy the right to be like, I told you so. You're giving the enemy the reason to be like, I knew he could never make it. Yes, because sometimes, like us, I know that there are some people that wish that we should not make it in life. But the best thing that we could do, the best revenge is success. The best revenge is success. So the next thing shows Kenny, Emeka, and Jonathan. And Kenny was so pissed because Kenny could not believe his eyes. When Jonathan had the audacity to tell him why he quit the job, Kenny was wondering if Jonathan was okay, because it's obvious that Jonathan is sick. Kenny couldn't understand that Jonathan will quit a job simply because the CEO is a woman. Like the person he worked directly under is a woman. Because she's a woman, Jonathan quit the job. Without thinking of the repercussion, without thinking of his family, without thinking of his daughter, especially somebody that is supposed to look up to him. But we all know Emeka now. We know Emeka's motive in being in Jonathan's life. We all know that Emeka wants Jonathan to fail. And Jonathan, being Jonathan, will eventually fail because he has made it very clear that he's prone to failure. Failure is always looming around him. Because what kind of man will be that, like that they are telling you, they are trying to make you understand that there are certain things that you need to stay away from, but you're unable to stay away from. What kind of man are you? Why would you be so dumb? You understand? And Kenny is just try to make Jonathan understand that Jonathan, you are the architect of your own problem. And you see this person around you called Emeka that you think is your friend. Emeka is the grave that you're going to be buried in. Emeka will be the one to dig it and will stand and bury you. Yes, it's obvious. Because for Emeka to be supporting, calling him Big Joe, that why would Big Joe be taking care of a woman? Why will he work as a woman's PA? Carrying her back everywhere. Kenny say yes. Even if it means driving her around, even if it means washing her undies, why not? But Emeka will make it look like Kenny is a wicked man, is a bad friend. That's why he's saying things like that. Jonathan is more like, rather than him washing the woman's undies, why won't the woman just ask him to lick her plate? People understand what she is saying by referring to licking plate, So to Jonathan, Kenny is a bad friend and he doesn't want to have anything to do with Kenny. Not knowing that Kenny is the good friend and the bad one is just standing beside him. It's really a pity, to see that sometimes the people that we think are there for us are against us. Yes. And the funniest thing is that we don't even know it. Sometimes we don't even realize it. Emeka is the worst set of friend anybody could ever wish for. And Kenny has just had enough of it because he's sick and tired of Jonathan dumping him as a friend every time. And at this point, he's fed up because Jonathan does not even know anything. He doesn't know what he wants in his life. For you to turn down 800,000 because of your pride, you don't have anything. Kenny wanted to understand that how is it possible that you were able to work at that site, you carry sand, you mix cement, carry all those things for nothing, and you turn down an 800,000 job. Are you okay? I can't lie, like us. I am certain that his village people are the ones doing this to him. Yes, it's not normal that he will be doing this to himself. It's not normal, And to top it all, Emeka is very happy. Yes, Emeka is happy. So the next thing shows Benny, who is standing towards the entrance, just looking at her dad. When you're so pissed at somebody that you don't know what to do to them. Like if they were a child, you would have given them the beating of their life. She's just looking at her dad. Her dad is wondering, like, why is this little witch looking at me? But she won't say anything. She's just staring at him, with so much disgust you could see in her eyes. The way, excuse me, she was staring at her dad. She's disappointed. It's very normal. You know how girls love their fathers, And at some point she was like, why would God give her a father like this? And before she has made reference to, she wished Hanks, she had a father like Hanks. Like when God were distributing that, why did God give her this person as her father? Because it's not worth it. It is not worth it. So the next thing shows Emeka, who is very happy after leaving Jonathan's place. He's excited, and he ran to his partner in crime, Debbie, to inform her that what their wish came true and that what she predicted, it happened, faster than they even thought it would happen. Obviously they were happy that Jonathan quit his job because they want Jonathan exactly where they want him to. They don't want him to have a job. They want him to be useless. They don't want him to be useful to himself or to the society because they want the worst for Jonathan. They don't want anything good for him, you see. And these are the two people you call your friends. These are the people you rely on. These are the people you think care about you, and those that cares about you, you don't even care. You don't want to hear, So they were happy. And now, after realizing that he has lost his job, of course, he will have ample time in his hand. What's the next plan? If not to make him, want to destroy his wife now more than ever, based on the fact that his jealousy, she's working, he's not working. She has a business that's thriving. He's losing everywhere. What could be best now than destroying everything? You see how these people work. It's really unfair, and it's a sad situation. Because Jonathan is falling into this trap every day. It's rather unfortunate. It's really unfortunate. Now they want to plan how they are going to use him to destroy his wife. And at the same time, how they have to make him a pauper, a beggar, like to walk to trek. Because he has to dispose of his car. Because apparently, evil genius Emeka feels like that car is giving him wings to fly. Yes, that car is the reason why he fought and beat his hand the other day. That car is the reason why, he still have mouth to speak. They just want to cripple him. They want to paralyze him. They don't want him to get anything. They just want him to, God. With friends like this, who need enemies? Honestly speaking, who need enemies? For people to sit and gang up against you like this, you don't need enemies because enemies will just buy you because they are already 2-in-1 frenemies, So Debbie is so happy with their new plots, their new plans on how to destroy Jonathan and his family and to make him trek, take public transportation, be taking keke napep like me. Yes, that's what they want to. Like they just want to finish this guy. Pata pata. And who can blame them? Because Jonathan is the one giving them the upper hands. Yes, nobody can blame them. It's rather a sad situation. So the next scene shows Jonathan, who is going downstairs because somebody rang the bell, and it happened to be a maker, so he's going to open the door for a maker. And I'm certain a maker came with a juicy business deal proposal that is going to ruin his life, I'm certain. So like as we are going to end this video, like as I always say, protect your mental health and protect yourself, because you don't know the people around you. You don't know if they are for you or they are against you. So always be steps ahead by protecting yourself. Like us, thank you so much for everything. I really appreciate you guys. Okay, thanks for your support. Remember, marriage will never take anybody to heaven. Okay, it is a beautiful thing, but protect yourself. And on this note, I have to say bye guys.